See, when I was a little girl, that was during 80s. So I am no more a little girl now. But during the 80s, I had run uh, very fast. I used to play around the roads. I used to be very tomboyish girl. Used to play with a lot of friends around. And what memories that we get from our childhood actually stays much longer, uh, because we like to think about those very often. Why very often? Because those were very playful days. We enjoyed a lot of things. We were curious about a lot of things. We never even knew that what place we were living was not healthy for us. We didn't know that we need to demand such a stature. We didn't know that something could just correspond and change overnight, or some of our relatives might want to have that sort of a friendly binding, that we got to live how we need to live during the childhood days. So those were very playful days, and now when I think about it, uh, I've started to regret why I had not demanded that I had to live in a quarters, or that I have to get back to my old home where all the joint family systems were there, with all the other relatives around. Why wasn't that? I was always wanting to get back to the old place that where we had been asked to leave. Why wasn't I demanding that? And when the house that I was allotted, when my maternal grandfather had taken strains to rebuild, renovate a house that was so worstly hit and damaged, and he had recovered, he had restored those. But my father had who had not given his even half of himself to what that could actually mean to me. He was so very overwhelmingly wanted to name it after his sister's name, Shanti Niketan, he said, because it will bring a lot of peace to the house. And he was also a kind of, a very devoted person, and he knew quite a good language in English and all that. And he was much with the generic medicines and all that. And more so, he was, I had already told you about that. He had fallen trap of some love affairs, and he could not get overcome his love failures, as how he had called it. And most of the times he could not you know find for a little bacterias, very minute bacterias that you can never see in your naked eye. But you have to understand the whatever infectious diseases that are borne by air, or water and all that. And somehow they've got to find some medicines, allopathy he was in. And I actually hated all those things. And much later he also told me, very much later, when I had wanted to move away from him, that I would want to name it as Sriniketan. Yeah, Niketan is nice, but Sri, only after that I had refused that I am not going to be with you anymore. You have named it as Sriniketan. Who gave you that name? No, I have written down a lot of things in my the pocketbook, and I want to tell you this. So whenever you come to see me, you can see me not because it's named after my sister, uh, because it's named after Shri. So okay, I told him, okay, I will come when I would want to meet you. So, and I left him with a little thing that it's nice that, sometimes, we live and stay apart, because my father is always in heaven, and I don't have to see my father, bedridden or always on asleep, or he is in a standing position, covered in the mask of the face that tells me that he has already done, he cannot move, and somebody will push me out of that that pati temple, that you have to go soon, you have to go soon. So waiting in the long queues, that I would be reminded, like, you have to go soon. So that is all kind of memories when you say that, a lot of playful things, but when you start maturing, or when you start thinking about the ways that you need to live and all that, it's a quite some people feel very egoistic and all that. And later I could study all, as how super ego might function, as how Eid might function, as how ego might function, and all that. So let those things be. Those were all the learnings, the studies, much, 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 much later. And I was much interested with psychology and all that. I was much interested with communication. I was much interested with mass and all that. Now, I have learned myself to be not so very playful around, where once I happened to be, as how I had always been running around with a lot of other children, not in a place very that you might consider very safe or hygienic or things like that. So what is this magic that happens? The phase where we start growing up in a very secluded, this ways that you call as the lifestyle, the change in the lifestyle, the change in the set of minds, and as how even the worst of the worst people might even try to be the best part when you start to relying on them, and how taken for granted, overconfident, and always relying. I know the kind of an attitude that that you might know that somewhere we might lose hope on how we have got to move in a in the level that we need to. So it's always or tricky thing that, if you are asked to maintain a balance between your childhood and you becoming a old elderly person. So this making a balance of how you need to put yourself, your life, as how you had experienced, as how you had come over after a long stretch of years, and growing up with kind of people that you had come to know, with kind of people that you were able to get along with, and certain times that you want to, but you wanted to remain secluded, maybe, yes, as part of an inclusive program, okay, or if you want to say that you are giving an exclusive, it's not excluded, but it is exclusive. So such kind of terms, and such kind of occasions, that how well we were young, well, we were very the ways that as a child that would play, we would not have known what is the difference between exclusion, excluding, or exclusive. So these are kind of a learning that comes up after years of experience, or years of what we need to know about. Now, these visual thinking, I also do not know much about digital, painting, digital drawing, and all that. And they say it's much easier than working on a canva or easel board and all that, where you have to mix with those pigment and the color gradation and all that you can make. So it is as tough as how when you go to a bar council or when you go to a darbar, and then you think about the lines of barcodes that appears on the a little sticker on your product, the numbers that you think that you have to write, or the kind of the lines that you need to draw. So these are a very a very very important the concepts that we would be so you will be amazed to see that a minute difference and all that can make such a big difference in our lives. So this childhood is how I had seen the ways that I was told, stories about holy God men and all. I used to imagine, because it was all told, it was all word of mouth, and some of them I have seen because of the the DD where we had Mahabharat, we had Ramayana, all that. Every Sunday we used to watch all, and so we were imagining a lot of those visual gurus as how it might appear to be. So the temple structures, as we were thinking, and the deities, as we call the faith in the god, as how you can see as to worship them or revere, and then you have faith in them, and then you stand in faith, even when there are people around or when there are no people around, because it is between the god, it is a place of worship, it is a trust that you have on the form of the deity, and then you pray to the god, and then your wish is granted, and or you might have to wait for some time, or you might have to keep reminding the god, or at least keep reminding yourself about what you wished for, because it's all a very playful days of our childhood. So we actually I was taken to temples, and we used to go to some very profound, very the oldest of the temple that is called to be the landmarks of some the great wisdom for a lot of over a period of years of it's been there, because a lot of generations have come through that, and a lot of generations have passed, a lot of generations not just reside around the temple, but they had come and gone, they had come to see, they had worshipped, and they had left to other parts of the places. So we were actually I was once told about the Mangad Amman. There are Amma, you say Amma, and there are also a lot of Amman. And Vishnu, the Vishnu style, they say Ambal. In the Shiva style, they say Amman. So they actually Ambal never sits alone, and Amman is usually found to be in most daring and all that, because Shiva is the greatest the embodiment, because he is already dead and he has become spiritual, and he has given a lot of energy, spiritual strength to the lady who sits all by herself to guide, or to get to understand what the devotees or the worshippers had actually wanted or asked for, or they have put them in the prayer list. So, Mangadu was one of the temples that I was told about, and we have had nice stories about all those, and I used to imagine, and this kind of davam, as how you call it, as meditation. Now, this meditation is said to be like, that a needle has been there, a needle that could poke on the footholds or on the palms of your hand. These needle, like as how you stitch, gunny bags and all that, as how you stitch any of the packets or something, that an outer cover or something like that. So that needle is something, is what is told to be, as the lady had, who had mistakenly killed, or who had mistakenly offended, because he had been in faith on of her, or on her, because it is said, like, the Meenakshi Tirukalyanam. So the Meena is somebody who could have never killed her husband, and but it is said to be that it's a godly thing, that in one of the temple where you miss out something, you might have to get fulfilled in another, by visiting, or by making some other offer of worship, as how you can do it in another temple, that is somewhere, where in other place. Now let that be. Now this Meenakshi Tirukalyanam, I didn't know about. Visalakshi, I don't know. Meenakshi, I don't know. I didn't know about all that Akshi, and the Sakshi and things like that. So those were childhood days, right? So I was imagining that that lady, was actually finding it too difficult, and I was thinking how she could have managed. I was thinking how she could have managed, placing a foot on thing and all that, and it was repeating to me in my memory. But once when I had gone to Mangad temple, and while I was coming out of that, it had a lot of very huge paintings on the walls. Usually temples not only have sculptures, they also have very good traditional paintings, antiques and all that on the walls, that could be that are framed, and that could be moved to other places, and then it can be reassembled as how the seasons occur, or as how the devotees, or the kind of generations come and go. So I didn't know about all that, but I was, looking at all the paintings, the visual drawings, and all that. The all of those such wonderful, narrations, that you don't need anybody to say what it stands for. You don't actually need somebody, guiding you or telling you what all those things are. Those visual depictions would actually show, because it's the kind of people that are telling you what it is, and it's in a sequential position, and it's in order, or it's in a series, and mind you, they are all framed, and they can be moved also. So this series, or this positioning can be changed in the ways as how it might have been reconstructed, or as how I'm telling you, this is the kind of people who would come and go. So when I had gone and waited in the long queues, and then we had offered prayers and all that, I was coming back, and we were returning from the temple, and we were walking on the praharam. That is what is said to be the outer praharam, and that is a kind of procedural ways as how it is said to be. So that is the praharam, that is a procedure. Now when I was coming back, I was wanting to see what is the position that she would have stood while she was in the way as how she was meditating. And there was none of that paintings on the wall had shown me that she was standing on a pointed needle. She was actually hugging the Shivalinga, and that there was a Davasi, the Muni or Rishi or Davam, Davasan, some some for various sects of people, they have different ways of naming the person who stands on the meditation. He was wearing no orange the dhotis and the angavastram. He had covered. He wasn't wearing a shirt and all that. He was wearing angavastram and a kind of ways that they would be wearing the dhotis and long. They won't say it langota or like that, but it's a kind of a palazza, some a kind of a very baggy type. That is not a very tight fitting pant and all that. Now he had a lot of hair on his head, and he had a lot of beard, and he wasn't actually shown to be the oldest person. He I could see that his beard were black, and he hadn't become old or all that, but his face actually is very matured. He was very matured, and he was standing, and it was not usually I used to think that the people used to have a seating position where they could fold their legs, and then they would be in a meditative stature, the posture, as how we say it. But this man was in a standing position, the Davasi. So I had moved, and then I was thinking, oh, probably she hadn't done it. That person was actually doing it. So I had gone a few of the frames I had crossed, and I'd walked, and then I wanted to see whether how is it that Davasi was able to stand on one foot, and he was had put the other foot over his lap. He had folded one of the leg, and he had kept it on his lap. And this was a posture that I couldn't understand, because if it had been on the needle, then probably that for that reason he had folded his leg, and he had kept it on his lap, or whether the needle is where that he has been standing on the foot, that he had put it on the ground. So I wanted to make sure that, and I ran back to see whether the needle is there or not. And my mother was shouting, like, because there were a lot of crowd around, and she was getting worried that I might get lost. And this is a usual thing that when you are crossing the praharams, you are not supposed to go back and see what you had actually seen, and you will have to move out of that praharam, because you are have already started going around the inner praharams and all that, and the outer praharams, and you have to go. You are supposed to be leaving that temple. Now, my mother was in a hurry, and she was like, she was wanting to, take me, like, that I am running around again. I've started running around the places that, I get so curious about. So, this time when I had gone back to see, he hadn't been standing on the needle. There was no needle at all, and I was asking her all the way, like, there is no needle, there is no, but a long time then I had understood that it is all because of Tirunelveli. Now, this Nelveli, something like a veli that that could have thorns, or something like that would be poking or something like that, that is creating a problem. So it is not the kind of a needle that I was thinking about, the gunny bag and all that. So that was a needle. I was thinking about the stitching and the gunny bags and all that. And when I was thinking about this mangade, this needle was the only thing that I was I was recollecting as how that story was told to me, and I was wanting to find out. But when I had seen that painting, I had literally understood that was a lady, that she was hugging the Shivalingam, and she was not, actually standing on that, kind of a thing that is told to be so. So that was a man who have had the long beard and a lot of hair. When if it is left, what do you say, free hair and things like that. Some people will say loose hair, but free hair, when you say it's a freestyle, then without the beard, he would also be looking like a woman. And I would have thought like she has, worn that orange clothing, and she is the person that, she's actually in that Tavas position. So here, this is a kind of one thing that I had kept in my mind, and I knew what I was listening to and what I was imagining. And when I go and see the visual paintings and the visual drawings and all that, it is proven that all those are something that you could see in the temple, within the temple space, and as how you have worshipped, as how you have prayed, and as how you had experienced, and that would be quite evident as how you could see. That is a relationship of a very kind of a special relationship that we could get with the forms that we have seen, that we had actually gone by. After so many years, after 29 years old, I had my the marital, what do you say, 27 I was engaged, and 29 I got married. So that was a 2 years gap. It was not even after engagement that I got to get married. So for 2 years we had nearly waited, and then we had gone over to several places, and we had presented papers, we had done some research things and all that. All those things we were doing, and only later, much later, we got married, and that was in a temple. That was in a the doors were closed then, and it was not open. Temple, that the place where we were, they, I think they had chosen, or they had thought that that would be appropriate to sit and do. But now I would say that because 27 and 29 and all that, we were half mad about all the Madras madness, and the Rasapatnam, and there were kind of so many things that were there, and kind of the so many students who had been married, and then who had come back to fellowships, and who had been learning with us. So it would not have been a necessity that had wanted to actually take a temple or something like that. But that came our way, and then we felt, because we wanted, okay, we thought, okay, we'll do it in the temple. But I wasn't very happy about the kind of the space that was given to me, and I thought that I should have gone to that temple, and I should have chosen the space where I should have been married, and then I should have decided how that arangam, or that decoration, or that kind of thing that should have fetched us more happiness and trust in each other. So that was a kind of very simple thing, that what that temple, I don't know about how those things were, because a kind of a lot of political stunts also happen. The kind of nudges that you think about. There is a family drama. There is some kind of a testing period. There is some kind of always who wins first or who comes first. All those maybe all that. So why is a thing that we have to go and get be married in a temple? It's a place that we could worship, and then there is a registration office there. We can proclaim ourselves, and then where the witness would be asked to sign in or witness the marriage, the proposal that has been sanctioned, and they have been given a certification, and how and what needs to be done after. So at least a very happy couple, they would visit every year. They would want to know what is happening. We were not even given time to go climb the stairs and see how it is on the top of the mountain. The top of the hill is not somewhere in as how we climb it, we will land in some other space. So such kind of restrictions and things were there, and I still regret when I had gone back to the same temple, and it was so delayed, and they had was actually closing the doors when we had gone, and we had wanted to see those temples. The opportunities that we had taken time to, because there were a lot of old elderly people who had wanted to come back, they wanted to sit, or they were afraid that they might be their lives might be taken, and without knowing whether they have to stand outside or inside, that they will also be coiling around with the same whether we need to have 10 snakes or 12 flamingos or whatever. We wouldn't know whether it is an array, or it is the crane or the Ajanta, or what is actually in Tawa's position. We wouldn't know whether that they might come back, or something in a way that we had never thought of, we had never imagined in any of our lifetime. But this um, the kind of an effect that had brought on my husband, I could see that his leg used to be an archetype, like an archbishop, like. So the kind of an arch that he has, I'm a flat legged. He used to walk a lot and all that, and his foot, the sole of his foot was actually poked with so much of pressures. They say the pressure points. Those uh, in those places, as you say, as pressure points, he had developed a kind of an rooted cells inside his the sole of the leg. The as how he used to walk with so much of heavy loads and things like that, he never used to get so tired and all that. Very often we would go by cab, we would book a cab and go. But even otherwise, I'm saying, like, in the city we were given a band-aid kind of a thing, and then he had used it on his skin, and it just had to be peeled off, and sometimes it gave a lot better a skin treatment, like. But in Trichy, there was another boy who had come, and then a boy in the sense a youth, kind of a not a very child, but it's a kind of a the young men, as you call. He had a different treatment, and he said this will never appear on your foot again. And there was such a big relief that he had. because this cure is something as how he had been born, or he had been brought up in the internal districts of the place, where the city treatment or the city life or the city the kind of treatment that you could give for the ailments that you have is found to be temporary. The relief that what they get from the internal the kind of the birth that they have had, or the kind of an upbringing they have had, and the kind of the youth that who had come from such remote places and all that, they have had a better treatment and understanding of such problems, and he could actually cure his foot better than any other treatment that could have had on the kind of a stickered, the kind of a band-aid, and it came, it was reappearing again. But then when those kind of the kind of doctors that those men actually had helped get cured. Now this is one thing I used to like say, like when we were wearing the meti, he had worn the meti along with me, and one of the ring, the meti that I had, he was wearing it because the ring on his finger, he had never had a ring on his finger, neither I never had a ring on my finger. And he said, like, this meti also is kind of a, the finger, the toe ring, and what you have, then I also have one on my foot. So the needle is something, is not that always needs to appear like a needle. So these kind of the pressure points, these kinds of strains that aches you, these kind of strains that pains, and as how you need to be cured, it has to be cured. And I was I was thinking, like, that what I had to do with the kind, when I was imagining about Davasa, and I didn't even know what could be the effect of Rishi, or what could be the effect of Munivar and all that. What is municipal to do with the corporation also, I didn't know. I didn't know about corporate, and I didn't know about what is ration, and all that. What is this rational, and I was always trying to understand the, the coinage of the terms, and as how it had to be understood, and the meaning as how and why certain terminologies are used. So this is one of such things that I had wanted to say, because this visual drama, or as you say, or this visual retention, as you say, this visual perceptive, as how the perception has retained the perspectives, or as how we have framed ourselves, and we have thought in truth that some things, that whether we need to alter in any of our alter, alter in any of those the ways that we had to, or we have to uh, say to the people who are coming after, or coming the kind of thinking, like, can we do it so, or we are not supposed to do it so. Because in a certain tricky situations, they didn't know whether they have to change their wives along with, as how the praharams also changes, as how they need to change their husbands also, as how the the visual depictions are changing. So these are kind of the very funny, very sometimes we find, to laugh at when it happens to somebody else, or we might get so wild and very, very very angry. See, Angreji is not something that you can always be angry about. This is how you say it, Angreji, or आप क्या wild what has how you Angreji. No, 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 no. It is all Angreji only. No, not Angreji. No, not Angreji. Okay, okay. Thank you. Bye bye.